writing pads on either side. We're going to capture as best as we can what your input or comments are. We're recording it so we can transcribe that. That input, all of that will be given to the stakeholder work group. Their recommendations will be considered in the draft revision of Reg 2. And any in other input that might be ancillarily related to Reg 2, we want to capture that and still give it to, for example, if it's a permitting question or enforcement question, we want to capture that, and we'll take that on to those individuals in the water division that could best answer that for you as well. But again, we really want to focus on regulation number 2 tonight. The stakeholder work group. We envision 20 to 25 folks at the table for our stakeholder work group. It would be what we think would be a manageable group of folks, but those folks would have a strong interest in understanding of water quality in the state. And we're going to meet several times. We envision meeting 5 to 6 times over perhaps 3-month period. Is what we see right now. We really have a strong expectation so that everyone would work as part of a team to come up with reasonable and achievable recommendations for Reg 2. That's our goal with the stakeholder work group. And so those broad categories of interest that we see, folks at the table, 20 to 25 folks: research and education, watershed outreach organizations, industry, agriculture, drinking water source, and health organizations, recreational organizations, and then local, state, and federal agencies at the table as well. This is what we see right now is making up the stakeholder work group. And so we'd also like to get your input tonight. What other group did we miss? We'd like to get your input on that as well. So we'll quickly move to capture everyone's comments and input for this evening on Reg 2. I'm trying to think of anything else that we need to cover before we begin. I did want to add, we have about, I think, 6 cards or so right now, and we have 10. Sorry, we have 10 right now, and we may not have gotten maybe in someone else, you got a card and maybe you were debating on whether to make a comment or to give us input, and you decided to do that, and that's fine. We'll open it up to folks who haven't given a card. About 10 folks. What I'd like to do is to keep it to, I'd like to keep comments to about 5 minutes at a maximum, just to give everyone a chance to give input, and I think that's probably all I wanted to cover. Can anybody else think of anything else? Okay. So if we could, what I'm going to do is let's bring up the lights, Doug, and if everyone could come here, that would be great. What I'd like to do is open up to folks that have given us cards and then move on. But yes, you have a question.
About the process. You didn't explain exactly how the stakeholder group would fit into the process that you described here.
Okay.
Does the stakeholder group, are they the ones who submit a petition to APC&E?
No, ADEQ will petition. ADEQ will petition the commission.
So the stakeholder group is strictly an advisory group to ADEQ?
We see the stakeholder work group making recommendations for us to carry forward to the commission.
And when that group is constituted, how do you foresee the inevitable conflicts over the proposed rule changes, if any, to be resolved within that group? And will you allow for a minority report to be issued from it?
That's a good point. What we see right now is having a facilitator as part of the stakeholder work group to work to build, help us work to build consensus. And it could be the case that consensus cannot be built, cannot be, sustained on certain issues. That's a possibility, of course.
I would just submit that if you're looking for groups that you may have forgotten, it'll be groups like mine that will not be able to reach consensus with industry groups that want to see the status quo maintained. So if you really want the broadest possible representation, then I think you need to assume that on many issues of substance that there won't be consensus. It's my
And that's an absolute possibility and probability.
Okay.
That's going to happen. We recognize that.
Okay.
Now, what happens it may be that we're not going to have consensus on that, and the group's going to have to decide what to do, and we as an agency are going to decide what to do about that.
Thanks. I just wanted that clarified.
And we totally expect that's going to happen on certain issues. Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't, that's great, but I mean, we're all human. So let me go ahead and put this here and grab the cards, and we'll start those, and then we'll move on to yes.
Could we see that list again of the stakeholders?
Yeah, the potential groups. And again, that's why we have the next slides to get your input if necessary on a group that we may miss. And again, like we were saying, those are the broad categories. that we expect to fall out.